こんにちは、サラです。So today I'm going to talk about how to say I in Japanese. I think most people who study Japanese have learned the word watashi for I. This is probably the most neutral way to say I in Japanese. So I think a lot of foreigners tend to use this because this is the first thing that you learn when you study Japanese. But there are many more natural ways to say I. I'm going to go through some more natural ways to say I in Japanese. So in Japanese, you say I differently depending on if you're a woman or a man. So for women, the most common way to say I is watashi. Most women use watashi, but there are also a couple of other ways you can say I. One is uchi, which is usually used by young women such as teenagers or high school students. You can also say atashi. This is commonly used by older women, but as a woman, you're always safe to use watashi. For men, on the other hand, it's a little bit more complicated. You can use watashi as a man, but it's usually only in formal settings. So at a job interview or at work, you would say watashi. The most common way for men to say I is ore. It is a little bit informal, but it's definitely the most common way for men to say I in Japan. You can also use boku, which is a little bit softer, but it does sound a little bit childish. Usually only young children will say boku, but it's also okay to use. An even more formal way for both men and women to say I is watakushi. Watakushi is only used in very formal settings, and it also requires you to speak formal Japanese when using it. In English, there's only one way to say I, but in Japanese, there's multiple ways to refer to yourself depending on who you are and the situation. Of course, you can use any of these as you like, but it might sound a bit strange to Japanese people. For example, it's fine to use watashi as a male, but for Japanese people, it will sound a bit feminine. I hope that you learned something from this video. これからもうちなりに役に立つ動画アップしていきたいと思うので、登録よろしくね。バイバイ。